Hello and welcome to our predictions for the controversial WWE Crown Jewel event in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, tomorrow at 4 PM UK time, not 5, because of clocks and that. Now, the reason I say controversial is for many reasons. The event is being held in Saudi Arabia, and I'm just going to run over kind of why WWE is getting so much stick for this event. So basically, the Saudi government ordered for the brutal assassination of a journalist recently, because the journalist wrote things about them that they didn't particularly agree with. They murdered a human being, which isn't something that goes down particularly well generally. And you couple this with the kind of the restrictions on women that we know about, kind of the conflict of interest with, you've got Evolution was only like 4 or 5 days ago, and then you go into a country that doesn't even let your female competitors compete, or doesn't even let them be seen on a screen in their ring gear going by the Greatest Royal Rumble. It's a very sticky situation, so sticky in fact that John Cena and Daniel Bryan refused to attend arguably the two biggest names in the company right now. Probably not, but John Cena is the biggest name in the company, and they've both just said, I'm not going, pal. WWE have pulled them from the event. John Cena was replaced on Raw in the World Cup. We know he was kind of the main poster boy for the World Cup, really. He was replaced by Bobby Lashley on Raw on Monday, and Daniel Bryan's WWE Championship match against AJ Styles ended up taking place on Tuesday SmackDown, and Bryan lost, and then Samoa Joe attacked both AJ and Bryan, and now we've set up a AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe rematch for Friday, or tomorrow, for Crown Jewel, instead of Bryan and AJ. So that's two big names that won't be there. One name that will be there though, or reportedly will be there, is Renee Young. She is apparently going to be part of the commentary team for the event, which is odd, given that we know the restrictions Saudi Arabia place on women. Is it just WWE trying to kind of say, oh, there is a woman here? I don't know. But also Hulk Hogan will be there hosting the event, so fight fire with fire apparently. Vince is just I don't know, I don't understand this, but whatever. So Hogan will be hosting the event. We don't know what hosting the event really means. I assume things like handing the World Cup winner the trophy, and then proceeding to hit said World Cup winner with a big boot and a leg drop, and declaring himself as the best in the world brother, probably, as Hogan tends to do. So yeah, basically that is why there is so much controversy around Crown Jewel. But we're still going to give our predictions. I mean, if you look past the controversy, which it is impossible to do, that's a hypothetical situation. If we look past the controversy, it's a pretty interesting show, and we're going to give our thoughts and predictions. So, without further ado, let's get into them. The first ever historic WWE World Cup tournament to determine who is the best in the world. So we've got 8 men from Raw. No, we haven't. We've got 4 men from Raw, 4 men from SmackDown, 8 men altogether to determine who is the best in the world in the first ever historic World Cup tournament. Now, on the Raw side of things, I'll put the bracket up. So the quarterfinals are Seth Rollins versus Bobby Lashley. Lashley replaced Cena, and Kurt Angle versus Dolph Ziggler. And then on the SmackDown half, we have Jeff Hardy versus The Miz, and we have Rey Mysterio versus Randy Orton. Now, I'm going to go match by match, so I think Seth Rollins is going to beat Bobby Lashley, and I think Dolph Ziggler is going to beat Kurt Angle. Rollins is obvious. I think he's getting to the final, and I just don't think Kurt Angle is capable of wrestling multiple matches within a few hours of each other. He could barely lift Baron Corbin through an Angle slam the other day, and I just physically don't think he's up to it. He may prove me wrong. He won a gold medal with a broken freaking neck, didn't he? The mad bloke. But yeah, I think we're going to look at a Seth Rollins Dolph Ziggler semi-final. I think that's what makes the most sense on the Raw side of things. Over on SmackDown, I think we're going to end up with, I don't know, I think Miz is going to beat Jeff. I think that's fairly obvious, and I'm going to go with Rey to beat Randy Orton. Now, Randy Orton, I think is probably the hardest one out of the lot to predict, but I think Rey is going the distance. So And to do that, he has to beat Randy Orton. So that leaves us with The Miz against Rey Mysterio, and I think Rey Mysterio is going to the final. And that leaves us with Rollins and Rey. And first of all, that's going to be a bloody good match. And I am not sure now. It was always between these two guys, but Shane McMahon added the stipulation on SmackDown that if a SmackDown guy gets to the final and doesn't win, then they will be moved to, or they will be fired from SmackDown. So, I don't know. Like, I don't think they'd put that stipulation there if it didn't mean someone was getting fired from SmackDown. But I also can't see them moving Rey Mysterio over to Raw. So, I'm going to go with Seth. Ooh, I don't know. I'm going to go with Rey Mysterio. I think Rey Mysterio is going to win the World Cup. I think the Saudi bloke will want that, because Rey in that. Yeah, that's a good reason, isn't it? Yeah. No, I think it's going to be between Seth and Rey. I'm going to go with Rey because I think other people have chosen Seth, and I want to win this. Sort of. I don't really care. But yeah, Rey. Picking Rey, all right. Let me pick Rey. Shouldn't have to explain myself to all of you. Now I'm getting really aggressive. It's 1:30 in the morning. What am I doing? Rey Mysterio to win the World Cup, to determine the best ever in the world. The best in the world ever. The first ever historic.
The first ever historic WWE World Cup to crown the best in the world. This one I could see a couple of outcomes for. I do think Seth is going to win it all. And I reckon, given the stipulation they added about the guy from SmackDown being fired, they'll probably put him over The Miz in the final, and then they'll move The Miz to Raw, since Raw has like 2 heels. But yeah, Seth will take it all.
So these are my predictions to the WWE Crown Jewel event. I would like to state that I support the Crown Jewel event as itself, but I do not support where it's held. My first prediction is for the WWE World Cup quarterfinal. I predict that Rey Mysterio is going to beat Randy Orton. In the other quarterfinal for SmackDown, Jeff Hardy is going to lose to The Miz. And Kurt Angle on the Raw side is beating Dolph Ziggler, while Seth Rollins is beating Bobby Lashley in the other Raw quarterfinal. Then I predict that Seth Rollins is going to beat Kurt Angle, probably via shenanigans of Baron Corbin. Therefore we have Rollins in the finale on the Raw side. And Mysterio and Miz, we will see Miz losing to Rey Mysterio, which results in a finale of Rollins versus Mysterio, and I think Mysterio is actually picking up the victory here, because Attitude Era, or Ruthless Aggression Era really for Rey.
The Bar defending the SmackDown Tag Team Championships against the New Day. Now this one's a little bit hard to predict, because on the one side, Sheamus and Cesaro have only held the championships since SmackDown 1000, and they have the Big Show in their corner. And, you know, an interesting factor is that, will WWE want to be looking back on Crown Jewel in the future and saying, oh, there was a championship change here? I don't think they will. But on the other hand, the New Day are, you know, very popular. They will be popular among the Saudi audience, so I'm not sure. I'm going to go with a Cesaro and Sheamus retention.
New Day versus The Bar, part 86. I reckon The Bar will retain this one. I can't see them losing the titles this soon after winning them.
For the SmackDown Tag Team title match between The Bar and the New Day, I predict that The Bar will successfully defend the tag team titles against the New Day.
WWE Champion AJ Styles defending against Samoa Joe. So as I mentioned earlier, the original plan was Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles, but Bryan refused to go to the event, so they bumped that to the SmackDown, and now we're left with Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles, which I am personally a little bit disappointed with. As much as I like Samoa Joe, we've already seen this SummerSlam and Super Showdown, and Hell in a Cell, I think. Yeah, I don't really want to see this match again. I think it's a fairly obvious AJ retention. Joe is apparently injured, and I'm fairly confident they're just bringing him back for this match because it was an easy decision and kind of, I guess, an easy story to tell, that he still wants a championship. So yeah, I'm going to go with a pretty confident AJ Styles retention.
AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe. Joe obviously subbing in for Bryan because Bryan didn't travel to Saudi Arabia. He's just a body in there, and AJ's going to beat him.
For the WWE Championship match, I predict that AJ Styles will defend the title. Whoever he will be facing, I believe it's Samoa Joe now, not Daniel Bryan anymore. So AJ is winning here.
Braun Strowman versus Brock Lesnar for the vacant WWE Universal Championship. So, as we know, a couple of weeks ago on Raw, Roman Reigns delivered the sad news that he is battling with leukemia and had to relinquish the Universal Championship and basically step away from the ring for a while. Everyone here at WrestleVision, we send our thoughts and prayers to Joe and Hawaii Roman Reigns, but that leaves us with a vacant championship, and instead of the planned triple threat between Roman, Brock and Braun, it is instead just a singles match between the latter two, and I think I'm fairly confident in saying Braun Strowman is going to pick up the win. I can't see them putting it back on Brock. I think, yeah, Braun's being set up for a program with Drew McIntyre at the minute, and I think that's going to be the top championship feud. If Brock does win, I'll probably be very angry.
Universal title match, vacant title, Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman. Obviously, given the situation with Roman, this is obviously thrown together and not the original plan. But I absolutely cannot fathom them putting the title back on Lesnar, especially this soon. So I reckon Braun is going to take it.
For the Universal title match, which is vacant, I believe that Braun Strowman is going to win the championship and not Brock Lesnar.
D-Generation X versus the Brothers of Destruction. I literally do not care. I don't want to sit through this match. I don't care. I'm gonna guess Undertaker and Kane because probably the Saudi bloke wants Undertaker to win, maybe, and Triple H won at Super Showdown, evens things out, and then we set up Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker for WrestleMania 35 because that's a match that everyone wants to see, isn't it? No, it is not.
DX and the Brothers of Destruction. I do think they have made DX look like the stronger of the two on TV. So normally that would lead me to believe that the Brothers of Destruction were going to win. But I can't see Michaels losing his first match back, so I reckon DX are going to win.
For the tag team main event, Triple H and Shawn Michaels, DX versus Kane and Undertaker, the Brothers of Destruction, I predict that Shawn Michaels and Triple H will go over indefinitely.
And that wraps up our predictions for WWE Crown Jewel tomorrow. Now let us know in the comments below your predictions, of course. Let us know who out of us guys you think is going to win, who you think has the closest predictions. And make sure you follow us on Twitter at WrestleVisionYT. Not only is that the best place for fast notification uploads and your home of the daily poll where we ask you about a particular wrestling topic and then you vote and then we moan about the votes because we don't agree with them or something. But we will be live tweeting, or Connell will be live tweeting through Crown Jewel. He's funny sometimes, so you should follow us for that. And yeah, that's it really, that's all I have to say. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Cheers, Jeff.